Hello, hello, hello. Okay, hello, hello, hello. I think I'm live. Let me just double check. I'm going to go on my phone and check that I'm actually live. And obviously, if you're here, just say hello. Drop a comment down below. Today, I want to be talking about just like my journey at Amazon USA. And hey, if you've got questions, like obviously I can help answer those, or if you've got questions that you want answers. And I know right now inventory limits is a big, big issue. So I can see definitely I'm live on my Facebook group. This is going out to YouTube and also to the Facebook group. So do let me know if you've got any questions, but just say hi, drop it down in the comments below. So just wait for a couple of people to come on. And obviously what we can then do is kind of get started. So let me know any questions you want to ask. If I kind of update that, if you've got like questions, drop it down below. Obviously, I can do that. So today, I really just want to talk about like 5 things I've learned selling on Amazon USA. And hey, if you've got questions you want to ask, then just let me know. So I'll kind of share that. I had another call this morning actually with a couple of sellers over in the UK. We learned some kind of things around what's it called, Amazon US or Amazon UK and the inventory limits and what they're looking at. So I'll share some of that learning with you and what they're doing. So let me just kind of jump on, and I just want to check that I'm actually live onto the YouTube. So just go into my channel and check that now. And hey, if you've got questions or maybe you're watching on the replay, drop it down below. Let me know down below. And then what I can do is obviously answer them, whether it be now or later on. So if you're here, do let me know. But I mean, like I did, if you want to know about me right now, I'm doing selling UK and also USA, and this is all about USA, selling on Amazon USA. And really, I'm just getting started. Like, I've got, it's about 10,000, 15,000 US dollars. I'm hiring a team of VAs, and we're looking to do online arbitrage in the US and to really just start growing that. I sell obviously in the UK, and I'm really interested to see what the America is all about, how that's operating. We've created the LLC. We've got the Amazon Seller Central account. We've got a lot of things going on. And I'm interested to share that with you guys, what I'm learning from that. And hey, what you're seeing as well. And I know right now inventory limits is a big, big, big question. We've got a couple of things that I'll share with you I'm doing in my business and also what I've learned from other sellers as well quite recently. And hey, I'm interested to see what you're doing yours. So if you are here, do let me know. Drop a little comment down below. Just say hi. I know we've got a couple of people already joined. So we've got a hi, Thomas. Fantastic. Obviously, good to see you. I know I can't. 1 second. I'll have to check, but it might be on like if you're logging in. Sometimes use StreamYard. That kind of helps. But what I can do is some people obviously can see. So if you've got any questions, drop them down below. Just say, give me a big hi, give me a big shout if you are here. Today, I want to share the 5 things I'm learning about selling on Amazon USA. Which is obviously going to be helpful for you if you are thinking about selling on USA, or quite simply, maybe even you're selling on another marketplace that's going to be quite helpful. So I think that's a really, really big one. Actually, I might make it 6. I'm just thinking, because the one thing I learned this morning, if I just make a note of that, I say 6 because I want to talk about inventory limits. That's a big thing right now. Everyone is talking about inventory limits, what's going on, what's the problems. I think the question I'll ask you guys, if you're affected by inventory limits, if you're finding that you're struggling to ship in products, let me know in the comments down below. I've got a couple of things that I've learned from other sellers that might be really helpful. So this is on my list. So I got here this is on my list to start selling on USA. Fantastic. Quick question for you. What's the reason you're thinking about looking on USA? How are you, why are you kind of looking at like it's a lot of hassle. It's hassle selling on USA. There's a lot of creating an account. If I give you an idea for me, and it's kind of like if I talk about it for me, 5 things I've learned, and I'll kind of jump into it now and talking through. The first things first I learned about was tax. Hate it, absolutely hate it. But you've got to get it right. If you don't get it right, it's going to affect your business for the rest of the time. So obviously, I'm what's known as like an alien. I don't live in the United States. I live outside. And one of the things I really learned was about using or setting up in a tax-free state, and also as well having a prep center in a tax-free state. In the UK, whenever we see a price, or in Europe you see a price, that's the price you pay, whereas in America, it's that price plus the state tax. So for me, I created an LLC in Delaware. tax-free state, which was, for me, really important, because obviously I wanted to make sure that if I'm shipping stuff there, it's not going to be taxed. But also, though, it just makes calculations a lot easier. And then also as well, I now have a prep center in New Hampshire, but I was looking at prep centers in Montana. Now, this is fine for me because I am not within the United States. And what I did research in my understanding is that if you do live in the United States, it's actually more beneficial to create an LLC and to do your transactions in the state that you live, because even if you are set up in Delaware, for example, and you live in Florida, you're still going to have to file taxes in Florida because that's your home state. It's very complex. Taxes I hate anyway, but I think it's really important to get through. For me, number one, definitely the first thing I learned, and hey, I'm really interested to see how you're getting on. And hey, drop me questions down below if you want me to answer them. So first things first, I learned was about tax-free states, setting up in a tax-free state and using a prep center from a tax-free state as well, because it means obviously I'm saving 5-7% off my purchases because I'm not having to worry. So I'm just going to kind of jump in and out of like what I'm learning, but also your questions. So we've got a question here. So it says here, I'll kind of comment. I already have a USA account, sold a few products online arbitrage, OA, but main focus is UK now, but I feel it's oversaturated, just looking to expand. I'm just afraid as I do not know how the taxes work on USA. So the question I'd probably ask for you is two things. Number one, is your company in the UK or is it USA? Do you have like an LLC in the USA? Most people will do this whereby they have a company or an Amazon account in the UK and they'll open up the selling account in the USA. Because how they get taxed, I think, might be different. And I'm not an expert. I really want to say this. I'm not an expert. I know a good friend of mine, Seth Baker. He is a UK-based company with a global selling over to USA, no LLC. And I know the result of that is that he can't buy from all the suppliers in the USA. Now, it's like 15 books suppliers that he likes to buy from. He can't. Why? Because only 5 of them will allow you to put their billing details with the address outside the USA. The other 10 won't allow outside the USA. So something very interesting there. And if you are thinking about, selling on Amazon USA, maybe it might be the case that you do look at creating an LLC, creating an Amazon entity in the USA. Why? And the same for me is, number one, access to more suppliers. OA is hard enough as it is. We want to access the most amount of the market. Number two, you can create credit cards and use cashback facilities, or not cashback, so much credit card cashback within the US, which is going to be a lot easier. If you're a UK entity, it's a lot harder. And I think also as well, getting ungating is going to be easier. A lot of probably like half of the wholesalers we spoke to wouldn't accept a company outside the US, whereas a lot of them would, or half of them would. So it does limit you, but it's not that bad. You can still get away with it. It's not a problem. So just coming back here, your comment, obviously, thank you for sharing. Honestly, really, thank you for sharing. My Amazon USA account was created using my limited company, so UK-based company selling over to USA. Now, if I open LLC, can I change it from LTD to USC to LLC? I'm UK-based. I'm sorry for my English. Don't worry, that's fine. Short answer for you is, if you are going to do that, it's technically a different company. So you have to create a whole new Amazon selling account, which is fine. You can do that, and it is technically a different company, and it is by Amazon's terms. You have to create a new Amazon selling account to do that because it's a different company. If you've got an LLC in the USA, it should be a different company, whereas the UK hasn't. So top tip there is like, you can do it straight from the UK, but if you're going to create an LLC, you need to create a new Amazon account because they're different. They're different, and they're what's known as the entity is different. So one's UK, one's USA, different account. You can't transfer them. It's like Apple UK, then creating Apple USA. Yes, they might have the same global, but they are a different thing, so they create a different company. Just be aware of that. Although it might be worth checking the tax. I'm not a tax official, but my understanding of it is that's the way you need to do it. So if you've got questions, hey, if you guys are here, just drop a hey down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If there's any questions I can help you with, this is about me talking about my Amazon journey USA, but I appreciate you're all Amazon sellers as well. I know right now inventory issues, inventory stocks are a big, big, big problem. Let me know in the comments down below. What are you struggling with right now? If I can help you, I'll be more than happy to. Drop the comments down below and I'll really try and help you out. So if I kind of move on, I talked about number one, tax-free state. Number two is the one thing which I kind of learned about, should we say, my operation and where I'm using a prep center is bundling. I really like bundling in the UK or my other Amazon business. Why? Because software like Tactical Arbitrage doesn't find bundles, but in the USA, in the UK, we can do that because it really struggles with bundles. And I wanted to continue doing that in the USA, but the problem was that my prep center is like extortionately expensive for bundling. And I'd love to know what if you're using a prep center in the US, let me know in the comments down below, like, are you using, how does bundling work? Quite simply, pretty much everyone I spoke to in the prep centers from pretty much the tax-free states, the way it works is, I don't know, if I were to buy, like, let's say, for example, here I've got some immune boost or something. This isn't mine, by the way, my housemate's. But I buy something, and if I get one of them, it's going to cost me $1 to inspect and ship in, and then plus the shipping fee, UPS, into Amazon. Now, if I get a bundle and I get like 2 or 3 of them, I then have to pay $1 per item and an additional 50 cents to bundle them together. So all of a sudden, if I'm doing a 1-pack, it's just $1 prep fee. But if I'm doing a 6-pack, it's now $6 prep fee plus 50 cents. So the second thing which I learned about selling on or prep within the USA, quite simply, is that the fees, things like bundling, are really expensive. Like, it actually makes bundling very cost prohibitive and probably makes you go, I'm not too sure if I really want to be doing that. So right now, we just don't do bundling. I've just sold my team. We don't really look at those deals. It's not something that I'm really interested in. But let me know about you bundling. If you're doing bundling, let me know down in the comments below. I'm interested to know. And hey, if you've got any other questions, please drop it in the comments below. I turn off that. There we go. So drop your comments down below. So that's like the second thing. So first thing, tax-free states: Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, all tax-free states. I think there's 2 more, don't quote me. If you are creating it, it really helps. And also having prep centers there. When I did my prep centers, I also looked at which prep center could get delivered to quicker. So I just went on Walmart, typed in the address of one prep center in New Hampshire and one prep center in Montana. And the answer was New Hampshire was a little bit quicker. And I thought one day, if I could ship all my items to my prep center one day quicker for one place, over the course of the year, that would add up massively. So I stuck with New Hampshire. So yeah, that was really interesting. Now, the other one, which I'll probably say is having sold in other marketplaces. The third thing which I learned in selling in Amazon USA is selling in other marketplaces. Generally, we have a rule, under 100,000 sales rank, that's it. But in the USA, my God, we'll go to 250 and we'll sign some nice little deals, which good profit, good ROI, and very stable pricing I'm very happy with. So quite simply, number 3, what have I learned? Sales ranks. Sales ranks in America is so much better, so much nicer. You have a lot more scope for opportunities. Now, there is someone in the UK I know who is doing a very good model whereby they are purposely looking for ultra slow selling. We're talking less than 5 units a month, and they really like that. But what they're looking for is 100% ROI. And what they do is they have probably like 500 units, which all sell 2 or 3 units per month. You're talking, what's that, 1,500 units per month. But each unit is making at least 100% ROI. Super slow selling. Just turns, slowly turns, and it's a very wide risk diversification. And as a result, they're literally doubling their money every month, but very, very wide, very, very slow selling. So I think there's a really good opportunity to do that, but you can do it in the US. And because, my God, in the UK, you're probably looking at anything from like 120,000 up to like 150,000 would be that range. In the US, it's like 250,000 to 350,000. So much more variety of products that you can buy that are going to allow you to do that type of model. Now, on the other hand, coming down the rank, there are many deals that I'm seeing at 80,000, and normally I'd be like, I'm just not sure. I look at the Keeper graph and I'm like, wow, that Keeper graph is amazing. Like, I'm really happy with that. So 80,000, 50,000, like, honestly, I get excited when I see graphs like that. And I shared it in one of the groups whereby you can see the rank. The rank is like pretty consistent, very, very good seller. But the number of sellers is going up. And I'm just looking at going, even with that number of sellers, I'd still get involved in that deal, because I think there's a good opportunity. So I like that. I really like that. And I like the fact that there is, the rank 250, not a problem. So number 3, 250, going up to rank 250. So that's, if I can recap, number one, tax-free state. Number two, bundles are super expensive in the US. And then number three, sales rank. You've got more variety. You can go up to 250 sales rank, more opportunity to sell products. If you guys have got questions or anything I can help you with, drop it down in the comments below. What I will do is I'll say number 6 is that inventory limits. I did say 5 I'm going to do for this live, but I'll say 6. Why? Because inventory limits is something you're talking about, and I've learned some new information over the last couple of hours. I'll share with you that might help you in your businesses as well. So that'll be useful. Now, the next one that I learned, if you're like me, you're abroad or you're doing online arbitrage remotely. And I've had so many purchases which have been declined. And the one thing I did is one customer came back to me, or one merchant came back to me and said, hey, thanks for your order. Unfortunately, I've had to decline it. And I went, oh, thank you so much, for like, why? What's the reason? And they just listed like a whole host of orders, like billing address is X amount away from the shipping address, the, what's it called? Something like I was at the time I was trying to see if I could put transactions through where my shipping address, my prep center, I could put it through as my billing address, so that when they do their things, a lot of time they go billing address and shipping address match. The credit card said yes, fine. And in this case, my credit card company said fine, not a problem, but it was the supplier's own internal checks which blocked the order, not the credit card company. The credit card company were happy for me to put my shipping address as the billing address, and they let the order go through. But they said no because of fraud, which I thought was really interesting. So the question was, I went back, I asked him why, and he came back, he said, shipping address is really far away from where the card's registered, but the billing address didn't match the card registration address. And then at the time, I did it through my own browser within Mexico, where I am now, and it said, purchase the IP address of the user was millions of miles away from actually either the other two addresses. So it was a bit of what the hell? And obviously it didn't match up. So the one thing which I kind of really learned about that is two things really. Number one, you can keep trying and put your billing address as the shipping address, and that does work. But number two is using a VPN. And that's it really, using a VPN. And we talk about this all the time, but for me it's about getting a VPN which is close to where probably my shipping address is or my billing address. And if you want to know, I use, I think it's ExpressVPN or VPN Express. And what am I doing? I basically just set it to the closest city, because they've got quite a lot in America that you can choose from, to where my billing address is. Why? Because I want to make sure my IP address is flagged as being close to where I'm supposed to be. Obviously, I'm sat in Mexico, Cancun right now, but that's going to do their fraud checks. And as a result, I just want to get the orders through. So what I'm doing now is really making sure that I'm putting my VPN as the right place. That's going to help out just to make sure I get those orders through. So that is number 4 on what we're doing in Amazon USA top 5 tips. A question I'd ask you is, you guys are selling, let me know in the comments down below any questions, or just say hi. But I will talk about the inventory issues at the moment and what we've learned about that. But before I jump onto that, we got, cool, thank you very much. We got, thanks for the answer, fantastic. Hey, not a problem, glad I can help. And hey, if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know in the comments down below. Honestly, if there's anything going on in your business, maybe USA, that would be brilliant. I can obviously help you out. So the next one I looked at was cashback. Let's put it this way. Cashback in the USA, I'm really enjoying. It's super fast, higher values, and there's obviously a lot of the providers just do great amounts. If you want to have an idea, I'm always comparing this. What have I learned from the UK versus what have I learned from the USA? Cashback in the UK generally, apart from some providers, a couple of percent, 1-2%, maybe a bit more, 3 if you're lucky. Sometimes you get 10, but very limited. What I'm seeing now is that I can regularly get like 5, 7, 8, even higher, 15. I've gotten some of them very, very quickly. I really like that. That's just, and also it's reflecting my count within 48 hours. I'm like, wow, they can actually see this is happening. So cashback, I'm using Rakuten, I think it is, and also as well, the other one which I'm using is like Honey, but more for the voucher codes. Rakuten is the big one that I'm kind of going through, and Top Cashback as well. If you want to know, I probably did about $1,200 US in cashback last month alone in my UK top cashback. So that was actually payout, not tracked. It was just payout. So that is number 5. Cashback is so much better, and I really love that. Now, what I will do is I'll come on to a moment, inventory limits. This is something everyone's talking about, and I'll share it with you today, just what I've learned and what I'm seeing, and maybe what I'm doing in my business. So maybe if you're having, if you're having problems with inventory limits, let me know in the comments down below. Hey, and maybe if there's something going on that you're like, actually, you'd like to improve upon, or something I can help you out, maybe in your business, drop a question down below. Honestly, I'm here to help you as well. And the idea is I share my journey, I hear what you're doing, and see if there's something I can do to help. And maybe, hey, I'll go and create a video on it on the YouTube channel. So, one second. So quite simply, inventory limits. What are we learning? Well, if you don't know, and I know it's happened in the US as well as the UK, and this is, I'm talking about my UK business right now, but I know it's a big thing, is what's happening is, about last week, the middle of last week, Amazon said to me, you can have 11,000 units. Fantastic. We had 11,000 units, not a problem. We couldn't really ship any more in, but we're like, fine, we'll clear down some we got, not a problem. Then the next day, Amazon came along and said, oh, you can have 13. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Amazon. Really, really good of you. And at the same time, they gave me a £121,000 loan offer. I was like, great. You love my business. You think I'm doing really well. Then 2 days later, they came back and said, actually, no, you can't have 13,000. You can go down to 9,000. I was like, what? I've got 11,000 in stock. Now you can have 9,000. What's going on? And then 2 days after that, they came down and said 6,000. I was like, you've literally halved my stock allowance. I can't ship anything in now. And not only that, you've offered me a lot of money to buy stock to ship in, which I can't do. So absolute frustration, inventory limits just screwed me, absolutely screwed me. So the question which I asked my team was, given how much stock we've currently got in excess and how quick we're selling through, how long would it be until we sell out? And we calculate it's going to be about 3 months before we'd sell out at the current rate, which is like, that just isn't viable. We couldn't do it. So what did we do? We basically went on a massive fire sale. We had to start selling stock. So we started clearing down stock, getting stock sold. And you might ask why? Because I don't know when Amazon's going to change. The rumor that I've heard through the rumor mill is that the warehouses are full, the lorries are backing up, and they're struggling to manage the inventory. And as a result, they've just stopped everyone. Across the board, UK, USA, same thing. Now, as a result, what have we done? We started just having a fire sale, selling. I mean, I've had the last 5 days of my Amazon business have been my best days ever for revenue, but not for profit. ROI, they've been my worst days. But it's just something we have to do. Why? Because I don't know when Amazon's going to sell out. I don't know when Amazon will allow the situation to change. And what I can't afford to do is to sit there for 5 or 3 months waiting for the inventory limits to come back up again. I had to make a decision. Now, if you're a business, maybe it's yourself, that's fine. You don't need to worry. You can wait, not a problem. Sell the stock, get the good ROI. For me, I've got massive overheads. I've got 7 VAs. I've got a prep center. I've got a prep center who's like, Tom, there's too much stock waiting. We need to get it shipped out. I had to take action. I had to do something. So I'm happy to take a loss, let's put it that way, in 1 month, so that over the next couple of months, I can then grow my business back with managing my inventory and getting it right. So that's the kind of actions that I've taken. And if you want to know, today they've changed the inventory limits again. So we were 6,000, we're now 7,300. Don't quote me, roughly around that. So we've gone up, so I'm really, really happy. And what was going to take 3 months might now only take a couple of weeks at the current run rate, because we've sold so much stock and obviously got more inventory. So much happier. Now, interesting enough, if you want to know, then the thing I'll share with you is I was in a call previously with members of the VA Academy. Now, this is a private group we have for anyone who has VA Academy members. They are people who have virtual assistants trained by Fast Track FBA. Now, in that, I shared with everyone in that group that I felt that my hypotheses, my thoughts behind it all, were that Amazon is trying to reduce down how much stock we hold. And what do I mean by that in particular? Well, in your Seller Central inventory, you go to inventory planning, it says your IPI score. Then you've got something else, and then it says like overdue stock, or excess stock. And then it says, I think it's like number of turns, sell-through rate, I think it's called. And this is how long it will take for you to sell your stock out in days. So Amazon does an estimation, a calculation saying, we think your stock can sell out in X number of days. Now for me and my business, it was 109 days. That was it, 109 days. What does that mean? It means that it believes at the current rate, all my stock, if I did nothing today, all my stock would be sold in 109 days, roughly 3 months, or maybe 3.5 months. Now, what I said was I think that Amazon doesn't like the fact that we're holding so much stock. It wants us to become more efficient, hold less stock in their warehouses, and as a result, they're going to have less stock and it's going to turn quicker. They're really interested in that. So what did we do? We had quite a lot of sellers in the group. I asked them to share their turn rate and what's their available inventory to ship in. And what was really interesting is we had some sellers who were quite low down. We had people down like 40 days. We had people 217 days. And then also we could see their available inventory to ship. Now, the two things to kind of spot. If you haven't used up all your inventory, this doesn't really work. So we had someone, for example, had a turn rate of like 200 days, but they'd only had a couple of units in stock. So as a result, they weren't full. They didn't have a problem with inventory, even though their current inventory wasn't shifting through. But of the people who were pretty full, i.e. they maximized a lot of the space, what we generally saw was that if your turn rate is about 60 days, i.e. or 2 times, I think it is, it's like sell-through rate is like 60 minus 109, looking 60 days. What did we learn from that? Those people had pretty much spot on 0 units to ship in, but zero excess. If you were under 60 days, and we had someone who was down to 40, they had like plenty of space. But if you were over, then you had no space. What does that tell me? That tells me that in theory, what my thoughts are behind it are that Amazon's really trying to say, hey guys, we want you to hold 2 months, 60 days worth of stock. If you hold 60 days worth of stock, then that is going to be the optimal amount of stock that you can hold. Great. But if you're holding more than 2 months worth of stock, then it's probably not going to be, they're not going to be happy with it. And what's going to happen is they're going to restrict they put the limits in to restrict it. Now, it could be the case that in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, Amazon has a lot more space and then they open it back up again. But what did I see right now from the comparison of other sellers is that pretty much we're seeing that if you've got 2 months worth of stock, that's about the optimal, the most you can hold in Amazon. That's where, and then after that, your inventory limits kick in. You can't store anymore. Now, a lot of people have, let me know if that's been helpful down in the comments. Honestly, just let me know if that's been useful, or maybe if you're seeing the same thing, have a look at that Seller Central inventory, and it's like inventory planning, and you'll see it's on the far right-hand side. It'll be like a big number, like I think it's sell-through rate or something. It's like days sold. I haven't got it loaded up. And then there's another smaller number, which is sell-through rate. Mine was 3.3, means I can sell it. I can sell all my inventory through 3.3 times in a year. But in the other one was the number of days to sell through. So have a look at that. Let me know if it's been helpful. I think it's going to be about 60 days is the target where you want to get to. And the idea is you want to start not holding as much stock. Amazon model is changing. It's always changing. We know that. We've got to adapt. We've got to update. That is just life. But I think that from our side is what's Amazon telling us is saying it doesn't want us to hold so much stock. So if you're doing online arbitrage and maybe let's put it this way, you're buying from a supplier, shipping it to Amazon, waiting a month for the other sellers to sell through and then starting to sell, that model might not work anymore. It might be that if you've got storage facilities, you buy it, you hold it in storage facilities for 1 month, then ship it in, that works. Or maybe it's you buy it, ship it straight into Amazon, and as a result, what you're then going to do is just hold, you're going to get it cleared down as quick as possible. So if I summarize what we're talking about in the inventory limits is that there are, there's 2 bits. One is the physical storage space. If your IPI is above 550, I think it is right now, or 450, you get unlimited. That's not a problem. That's the physical size. And if I give you an idea, if I have 10,000 units of this, it's going to take less space up than 10,000 units of this. So the number of units is what we're currently being limited by. But as long as your IPI is over 450, you should be able to store a limited physical size. That's something important to know. Now, the other one to say is that in the unit count, which is your inventory, what we're seeing is that based on your Seller Central inventory planning, same page as IPI, go all the way across to the right, that number over there, which is like sell through rate, will be like the number of days, mine's 109 at the moment. If you can get that 60 or below, that's probably going to be where Amazon's trying to get you to. Why? Because 60 means 60 days to sell through all your stock. What does that mean? It means that Amazon is saying, going forward, it's looking for sellers to hold 60 days worth of stock, no more than that, in their warehouses. And once you reach that amount, you're going to naturally hit their inventory limit. Their algorithms are probably working out what the number of units would be and then putting that unit cap in for you. So if you want to think about how you can improve your inventory score, short answer is go into your inventory planning, look at products which have a sell-through rate of over 60 days, maybe individual, look for products that you've held for too long. You know, I think that you can go into your like FBA inventory and look at like how long, you know, stock remaining. Look for anything with a really long stock remaining rate, like it's going to take 365 days to clear down. Those high, anything over 60 days is going to be like, they're my problem stocks. I need to get rid of them. I need to deal with them. I need to manage them. That's going to be super, super important for you. And once you can deal with those stocks, then you can start looking at other stocks. And it might be the case that you pull them out. Hopefully you did that before, store them in a warehouse, or you just sell them through. But I think the Amazon model is changing. We're learning so much about it, and there's so much going on that, you know, we've got to adapt as our business has got to adapt. But I said it in the last group is, yeah, it's changing. It's hard. It's really hard. But there's a good side about it. This can be really good. Why? Because a lot of new sellers who are coming in, who are maybe a bit scared, who are a bit worried, they are competitors. And as a result, they might be like, oh, I've heard about inventory storage limits. Amazon business isn't the same as it before. I might not do it. And you're like, yeah, it's not. Amazon is not the same as it was last year, and it won't be the same as it was the year before, and it's always changed. But it's up to us to adapt and to change the business model. And by changing, we can evolve and become better and more efficient and work on this platform. But what also it does, it stops the people who aren't really in it and probably going to buy some stock and then doesn't really work out and they crash the price. So while this is annoying, don't get me wrong, inventory storage limits are really, really annoying. It actually can be quite a positive thing, because it means you probably, once we get over this, you're gonna have less competition. It's going to be easier. It's going to be, the deals are going to be more available to buy because people aren't willing to invest because they've got too much stock as it is. Number two is the fact that new sellers aren't going to get involved because they're worried about inventory storage limits, and they've heard all the bad things because everyone's talking about it right now. And then number three is the fact that your business is better. You've improved. You've become more efficient. Maybe you're storing stock in the warehouse for a month, and it's because of that you now maintain a higher margin. Most people are going to clear out within the first month because you're waiting a month. Now you can ship it on month two. Your margins rise from 30, 40 to 50, 60. You just become better as a business. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I think it's really important to recognize that. That's going to be a big point. But hey, what I'll say is, if you've got questions, let me know down below. And if there's anything I can help you with in your business, honestly, please, that would be, I am more than happy to. Q&A, Amazon selling, what we're doing, what's going on. Honestly, I'm more than happy to answer. I think, for me, one of the questions I'm always kind of asking is like driving the business forward, what we can do. And right now, especially with inventory limits, and I said it back previously, was what do we need to do? We need to talk to our teams. And if you've got VAs, you need to reassure them. My God, my team were a bit like, oh, are we still going to have jobs? And I was like, yeah, of course you are, no problem. And hey, maybe right now you're in the situation whereby inventory limits are really affecting you and there's a real problem and you can't buy. So don't think about this as like, oh my God, I can't do anything. Think about this as an opportunity to learn. Yeah, I'm telling my team now, spend this time learning. Rarely do we get an opportunity to stop sourcing, stop purchasing for a week. We can sit there and whine about it, or we can take advantage of that time that we never normally have. So maybe learn about new sourcing methods, maybe improve a process in your business. One thing I remember doing a couple of years ago was very much around, a couple of months ago, was about building out a workflow for my repricing. Like, what do I do? And when we do manual interventions in repricing, what do we want it to do? And that was really, really important. So certainly look at that, see what you can do. there's so much opportunity now because you've got time. Time is always a problem. Like right now in my Amazon USA business, I'm like, oh, I don't have enough time. I need to buy. So much so that actually I'm getting my purchasing manager from the UK to come over and help me in the USA, just because I don't have time. I'm so busy doing other things. But for you, whether it be taking time off from your business because your inventory is too high, ship them in. Spend that time learning, developing. Maybe find a system to improve. Maybe work with a VA. Maybe hire a VA. Maybe outsource something. Tweak your repricer. Maybe find a new prep center. There is so much to do. Maybe look at your cashback. Maybe even look at what's one thing I said? Go find those products that you bought lots of stock on last year or this year. Can you find a wholesaler for them? 80-20 principle. 20% of your products generate 80% of your revenue. Can you look at those 20% of the products and say, hey, can we get it for a better price? Can I get a better supply? What can I do? There's so much opportunity to do right now, and it's about you seizing that. So if I'm going to come back, this is a live to support you guys. And hey, if you've got questions, let me know down below. But I'll go through quickly my five things I've learned on Amazon USA. And I think that's really important to, I do this because it's about reflecting. I do these lives to help you guys, to share what I've learned, hopefully share with you. So I thought, number one, setting up tax-free state, prep center tax-free state, super important. Number two, bundles are super expensive. Just, oh my God, it's just not even worth doing them. I'm not even looking at bundling, and I like them in the UK. Number three, sales rank 250, really happy with that. That's nice. You can get some good deals, and you can even go higher, which helps. Number four, I've got using a VPN. ExpressVPN is the one I use. Why? Because it allows me to set my address to where we're physically located, roughly, in the USA. And as a result, when they do purchases, they don't block my card, they don't block the transactions. Number five, cashback, really, really important. And then getting cashback, and I really like that. And I'm using Honey, Top Cashback, and Rakuten, I think it is. I can't pronounce it correctly. And then number six, I know it's five, but number six is inventory limits. It's something I learned from the UK. Generally speaking, 2 months worth of supply. That's it. Try and get your stock down to 2 months worth of supply. Have a look at Seller Central, inventory planning, where the IPI score is. Go across to the right, you get a count, which is the number of days of supply you've got. If you are using all your inventory and you're like, I can't ship any more in, why not? What we're seeing is get that figure down to 60 days. If you can get that figure on the right-hand side, it says like inventory sell-through rate, mine's 109. That means 109 days to sell through all my stock. Get that down to 60, and that's pretty much where the optimal level is. That's how much stock Amazon is trying to get you to hold, about 2 months worth of supply. And that means where your sell-through rate will match your inventory, and then you can sell through at the right rate, and Amazon will be happy. But if you're like me right now, or where I was last week, we had 11,000 units, and Amazon said we're only allowed 6. And I was like, thank you very much. And that was a real pain, and we had to react to it. So they are my 5 things. What I will say is, if you guys got questions, I know there's a couple of people watching now, let me know down in the comments below, or hey, has it even been helpful? If I managed to share some interesting information for you, let me know in the comments below, or just drop a hi. If it is, it's good to see obviously who's here, who's not. Let me know in the comments below. That's going to be super, super helpful. Yeah, I do these lives to really help you, to talk about my journey, and also as well to see like what else you're having problems with, because my God, I can do like videos on them. I can help you out. So if there is anything, let me know in the comments down below, and see I can help you out with that. But otherwise, I'll probably call it a day, a bit earlier than usual. I do love coffee. If you like coffee, let me know. But hey, I see a couple of good thumbs up and likes. Thank you so much for that. That's really good. Very nice. Yeah, okay, cool. So what I will say is I'll probably wrap it up there. There are the 5 + 1 extra inventory, which is quite recent, which is about selling on Amazon USA. If there's anything else you want, please drop it in the comments down below, or drop me a message in the Facebook group, Fast Track FBA USA. That's obviously that's going to help you out. I see we've got Kev just popped in. So hey Kev, great to see you there. Just finishing up for the day, Kev. If there's any questions or anything I can help you with, but I know you know way more than I do, and obviously smashing it on obviously things. So hope you're doing well. I'm doing awesome, honestly. Honestly, fantastic. Thank you for joining. But I think, if there's anything else I can help you with, that's fine. But they are the 5 things I learned, plus one extra for the inventory planning that we're seeing in Amazon right now. Generally, 2-month supply Amazon's looking at, turning that stock. Hopefully, I will be there soon, getting my stock levels down. Then I can start shipping in again. But you know what? Amazon's changing. That's normal. We need to change with it. And that's just the nature of the beast. Will Amazon still be there in 1 year? Will we still be selling on Amazon 1 year? Yes, definitely. That's a fact. Amazon's own admission, something like 50% of all their revenue comes from third-party sellers. So they're not going to get rid of it. They're just adapting. So we need to adapt with it. And Amazon is always changing. It's different as it is this year, as it was the year before that. We need to change with it. So any questions, let me know, but I will leave it there for today. Thank you very much for watching me. Thank you very much for spending the time. Hopefully it's been enjoyable. Give me a thumbs up if you have. And hey, what I will say is keep hustling, and I'll catch up with you next week. Bye-bye.